Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 for this Sunday night. I'm Gavin. With me, as always, I have Seany, I have Grizz, and I have Keith. Look, it's Liverpool 1, Man City 4, and we're going to talk about that game in massive detail for the next hour and 15 minutes or so. But before we do, this show, of course, is brought to you by Manscaped, manscaped.com. Go to manscaped.com. Buy whatever you like and use LFC DT at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Seany is using it. He's getting in trouble. His mom thinks he has someone on the side. Keith just loves it. He once nicked his ball bag doing it, but
healed up nicely.
Completely blamed himself on it. And Grizz just keeps bottling it all the time. So far, we have used the Lawnmower 3.0, which literally everyone loved. The Weed Whacker, which everyone loved, was really excited about. And the next thing coming along, I believe, is Manscaped Cologne. Seany, you'd be smelling lovely and everything going out. Like when this arrives at your doorstep, like there'll be marital problems.
Going where though? Going to fucking Spa, going to Duns. We can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? We can't do anything. Yeah, like they just keep churning them out. But one thing I will we've been on about Manscaped for a long time, but what's telling to me is the amount of lads that I've put onto it now, because they've seen me going on about it, hear me chirping on about it.
Yeah. And
the feedback is always positive, you know what I mean? Like I'll say again, it's the one thing in my life that I never knew that I needed, you know what I mean? And now I don't think I can do without. It's just fucking brilliant. I can't wait to smell the cologne. If it smells like that the ball deodorant or the other stuff.
Yeah, I hope it smells exactly the same as that in cologne form.
Yeah.
Or aftershave form, whatever you want to do. Keith, you be just lashing this all over your head and everything.
Oh, all over my body. Yeah, all over my body. Just get it all on. Smell great. Smell like a joint ball bag.
Grizz, what'll you do with it, Grizz? You'll probably just say it's great, but you'll probably put that behind your ear.
I've been told that I love the smell of myself anyway, so this will just add to that if it smells like. But I'm a brute, man. I'm old school, right? I'm brute. So
Old Spice.
Old Spice, yeah, that's me.
Blue Stratus.
My father used to use it. He probably still does. My dad used it, and then I nicked it from him, and then ever since then I've just carried on the legacy.
Yeah.
So if this is anything like that, then happy days.
They still sell brute sets in the shops.
Of course they do.
Yeah. I haven't smelled brute in a long time.
A long time. Tried and tested.
Okay. No, but listen, manscaped.com, LFC DT at your checkout, get 20% off, free shipping. And as I said, whatever you buy in there, you will get 20% off. And look out, because they do deals on top of that as well. So it's well worth having a look at. They are our sponsors. They've been really good to us. And I have to say, the stuff that we've been given to try out has been top notch. It really has. There's some old Spice shouts coming in here and all now. Christopher Scott with a super chat, thanks very much. He says, we take our licks and move on. Priority is now to finish in the top 4. A summer clear out is a must. Origi, Shaqiri need to go along with Matip, Ox and Keita. No more passengers. Reliability is key. Christopher, we're going to absolutely talk about that sort of stuff as we go on towards the end of the show.
That could easily be my burner. Just going to put it out there.
Yeah, it easily could have, because you got very emotional the other night about it.
But you wouldn't be giving up a tenner, you toy.
No, that's the difference. That's the difference.
That's where the story falls on
that's literally 2.5 bottles of brew.
Great point well made. Great point well made.
Toy and 2 coats of paint, for fuck's sake.
Correct and proud. That's how you get to the top.
Jono says, great job delaying having to talk about the game. No, we just wanted to get our sponsor in there and talk about them a bit before we get on to this. I have no problem talking about this game. The second thing is, before we move on to the game, and this is not more delaying, the lads were doing a show the other night with Steve from the Man City fan. Steve, by the way, was brilliant value. Go on. What are you laughing at?
Do you know, hats off, Mohamed Jogi, Man City scaped.
I can't see that.
That's a brilliant shout, in fairness. That's a brilliant shout.
There you go. What you're all smiling and happy for? We all got Man City escape properly today, says Mohammed. But listen, the lads had got Steve on the other night. Steve was great value, really good to talk to. And there was City fans in the chat and they were brilliant. There was some people in the chat, though, that were idiots, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, we've a couple of admins there that look after things, a couple of moderators. We're going to add to that team just so the lads aren't overrun. But there was people in there, and they were being silly. And look, I'm just going to let you know, our interaction with people is what we pride ourselves on. We love the chat in there. There's always intelligent chat. There's always to and fro between fans of other clubs, and that's absolutely fine. But if you cross that line where there was shouts about, you know what there was shouts about, you can make it up in your own head. It's very easily. If that happens, whether they're Liverpool fans doing it to City fans or City to Liverpool or United, no matter who you are, if that goes on, you'll just be banned from the channel, because one, there's no place for it, and two, it just clogs up the chat with, and you start missing the actual intelligent stuff that's going on. And our chat is probably one of the most intelligent you will come across. So we just wanted to say that. Yeah. Right. Not you being intelligent. The lads in the chat are intelligent. We're just four idiots. But look, it's one of those things. So just keep it in mind, all right? Right, on to the game. So Sean Dunn. Is that Sean Dunn?
It is.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. Still on the whiskey boy.
He throws in a super chat. Doesn't say that. He's just giving his money, which is quick stuff.
I know what that message said. Actually, I read it before I deleted. He said, "Sorry, my head gasket went there last earlier on, lads. Please don't play my voice now on the internet. Don't worry."
His head gasket didn't go. Big tub of head gasket fluid all the way on the way to Sligo. But listen, Liverpool 1, Man City 4, and we'll start where we always start, and that's the lineups. And Grizz, I'll come to you first. You know, thanks. It's Alisson in goal, Trent, Robertson. He goes with Fabinho and Henderson at the back. He goes with THIAGO, Wijnaldum, Jones, and the front three as normal. You said a couple of days out you felt that's the way he was going to go, especially at the back. Were you surprised with midfielder?
Nope, wasn't surprised with the midfield. It's the best team we could have picked in the circumstances. Again, a lot of clamour for one of the centre-backs to play. Was never going to happen after 2 days. Was never going to happen in this game. And so therefore he had to go with, as long as Fabinho was back fit, he had to go with him at centre-back, experienced. Fabinho up, you know, we could probably go into his personal performance, but before today was magnificent in that position. Hendo hasn't put a foot wrong. So yeah, midfield, look, Milner's dead. Milner's played 4 games in 10 days before that. There was no way he was going to keep that up. Jones, little small cameos that he's shown previously, has done all right after being out of the team in the previous game. So yeah, and Mane back up top was always going to start once he was fit. I don't know how fit he was after looking at that performance, but yeah, selection-wise, I wasn't surprised. Many were disappointed, and sort of some were angry that how the fuck have we bought 2 centre-backs and not playing any of them, and what's the point of buying them, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't. I knew it's going to be Fabinho Henderson as long as Fabinho recovered.
Okay. Seany, I
was disappointed.
I don't think Jones was a surprise, though. You were surprised. You were disappointed by the centre-half situation?
Yeah, I think Phillips should have played. I think he's just being overlooked. Because he's not a new signing. Phillips should have definitely played. Nat Phillips hasn't put a foot wrong in the Liverpool shirt since he's come in. He had a rough few minutes at St. James's, but I think he should have started the day before beside Fabinho. I think he's done enough in the last few games to do that. Yep. And I would have put Henderson into midfield. Look, Milner's been okay, but he's not able to play this many games. When it came out, I was a little bit disappointed that he had reverted to that type, because it's kind of like banging your head along the wall, like, and expecting the result to change. The bar Fabinho going with them lads that we had in there today, I think we could have went for it today. I don't think we had anything to lose today, and it didn't look like we approached the game that way. Because the reason why I say that is a lot of people saying a win would have brought us back into a title race. But even you had Andy Robertson last week who said we're not in a title race. We had nothing to lose today. There was pride at stake there today. Though we were defending a record against City where they couldn't beat us. And I think our overall approach to the game was wrong, to be honest with you. I think you could point out a lot of individual performances that have been bad in recent weeks, but I think Klopp as well shouldn't be free from blame. I think he's got an awful lot wrong in return to decision making in the last couple of weeks. And look, I'm not going to come in here and slaughter any individual or any coach because I'm not spoiled. I'm not entitled. Look, it hurts. Today hurt a little bit, to be honest with you. And it was a game I didn't feel much for kicking off. I wasn't nervous. I was a little bit deflated, but that hurt today. We got battered. Like, we got battered. The scoreline will say that we got battered. We got turned over. And you had Neville and you had Tyler laughing away. And you had Carragher who was making a bit of a joke out of it as well. And that fucking hurt. And it would have hurt some of them players today. That will hurt them. And you just have to hope that this ends up being a catalyst. Now, I was saying this a while. If I try to take everything in isolation, lads, I really do. I don't try to go over the top. But we can't take this in isolation because that was the third home game in a row we lost there today. And it's just not good enough. They've got to use this as a catalyst and turn this around. Honestly, because it's just not good enough. Not for what we want to be. We want to be champions. And look, you can't always win leagues. It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask in a good season. It's a tough ask when teams are going your way. But I was disappointed with the approach today to the game.
Keith, would you have done anything differently? You know, like I said, I don't think Jones is a surprise in midfield because Milner surprisingly starts during the week. I didn't think Milner would play during the week. I thought he would have been rested for this one. But when he does play, there's no way he starts for me today. So Jones wasn't a surprise. What would you have done anything differently at centre half?
I agree with Seany. I echo what Seany's just said. I think Nat Phillips has, as Seany touched on, he's had a few dodgy minutes against Newcastle. Other than that, he's never put a foot wrong for us. Now, whether he's the type of centre back Jurgen Klopp wants in his team going forward or not, the idea that Ben Davies is somehow a superior centre back to Nat Phillips, well, that needs to be seen because Nat Phillips has done nothing wrong. But I'm not surprised that he went with Henderson and Fabinho because I think Klopp was never going to play Phillips. He doesn't seem to trust Phillips, right, for starters. So he was never going to put him into that game against the front line with no centre forward, no aerial threat. And it just turned out, the game panned out as we probably all, maybe not as we expected it, but there's a lack of urgency and a lack of energy in our squad now, and I'm just hoping that the team that went out today, right, was the team I expected for today. Put it that way. It's not the team I would have picked. I would have gone with Phillips, but I hope it's the catalyst for change going forward. I wouldn't have played Kabak today. I wouldn't have played Ben Davies today. If I was playing any of them, it was going to be Nat Phillips.
Yeah, guys, I disagree. Oh, sorry, Keith.
Well,
you blocked someone stupid again. Yeah. I can't agree with both lads about playing Phillips. Not in a game like this. He's done well, and I've had enough of this sentiment bullshit that we keep. Oh, he's done well. He's fine. He's good. He's not. He's probably not going to play more than 2-3 games for Liverpool again in his career now. Now that we've got these centre backs and we're going to get our centre backs back and in the summer as well. Absolutely nothing against Phillips himself as a person. He's done brilliant for us. But in a game like this, when you need people comfortable in the ball in every position, because that's what they've got. That's what they got. That's what they use in every area of the pitch. Players that are comfortable on the ball. You was no way going to put Phillips. Sorry, I would have no way put Phillips on that football pitch, especially when he's not got a target man to just have a wrestling match with or fight with or bully with. Henderson, Fabinho, overall done well. Well, Fabinho had a stinker, but he's allowed one stinker. Until the centre backs settle in, we can't sort of cater. We can't say we're throwing Phillips or Williams. That episode has come, whether it's cost us the title, whatever, it's gone. We have to look past that episode now. Bring in these centre backs, try to fit them in ASAP and move forwards. So there was no way I would put back Phillips. No way I would put Phillips back in.
I had to be honest, and I said to you earlier, regardless of what way he went at centre half, I think it suited City. And the reason I say it is because with Fabinho and Henderson at centre half, he's still short on something in midfield, and that suits City. Okay, plus they're playing against two centre midfielders who are playing centre half. If he brings in Kabak, it suits City because it's a fella just literally he's two days training with Liverpool and he's looking to go in. But I have to be honest, I would have moved Fabinho into midfield and left Henderson where he is, and I would have put Kabak beside him because the reason being, I think Henderson would have. I think Henderson would have looked after Kabak. I think he's a natural centre half. I think it helps. And Fabinho in the 6, I think helps that midfield break up stuff a bit more and releases Jones and releases a Jones or a THIAGO, or you have an option there, Wijnaldum, whatever you want. I probably would have went that way, but I don't disagree. I think the two lads at centre half done okay. They done absolutely fine, but I still think for me, It was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because we weren't weakening ourselves, but we were taking a chance regardless of what way we went. You know, now we took the chance with the two lads that, you know, play centre midfield and put them back there, and for the vast majority they were fine. But I probably would have went with Kabak. I would have said, look, just throw him in there, put him beside Henderson, get somebody into midfield. And with the options that he had in midfield, like Jones, Wijnaldum, THIAGO, it may have worked better to move Fabinho. But that's just the way I was thinking about it.
The thing is, Gav, if you throw Kabak in there and you get spun, the fucking vultures be circling already, and the lads that they're playing one game for Liverpool.
Yeah.
So
I 100% get that.
He's on tenterhooks a little bit, Klopp, in regarding the situation. And I get what Grizz is saying, that Phillips probably not the best on the ball or anything, but he's done nothing wrong. Even by the fact you just need to show that you have a certain amount of trust in these players, even if you don't in this stage. Because like you said, Grizz, he might not play 2 or 3 more games for Liverpool, but that doesn't matter. You need to set a precedent going forward. He could have done that today. And he would have known, look, no matter what, he would have known, look, if Phillips gets fucking done here, that can be me then putting him out the pasture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he could have done that and given us something extra in midfield. Because I think by playing Henderson as centre-back now, he's playing left-sided centre-back, and he's been excellent. Don't get me wrong. There's been people saying that he should be left there and that if he keeps playing that way. We are fucking desperately missing Henderson on the right side of midfield today. Right side of centre-mid. Look at every single one of their attacks in the second half is going down that side against Trent. And Trent gets lashed out because he's not a great one-on-one defender. He's not. But that's not his forte. That's not what he does. That's not why he's regarded as the best right back in the world. He's regarded as the best right back in the world because of his output going forward. And his game has been massively hindered by the loss of Henderson there. We need to get him back into midfield. I think it was just a bit safe today from Klopp when it didn't have to be. Because in terms of a title challenge, I don't think we had much to lose today. Yeah. Top 4 isn't gone out the window because we got beat today. We could have went for it, and he didn't. And even when you look at, I even thought, look at Pep's lineup as well. Like, they would have been fucking delighted with a 1-1, and then we gifted them the 3 points in the end.
Yeah. Oh, we did, and we get to that. But look, you could go either way with it. There's loads of different options you could have went with. That's what he went with. And I think, reading on social media, people are like, well, we've signed 2 centre backs. Why aren't we playing one of them? You could put an argument that they're only in training a couple of days. And against that, you could argue, but I don't give a fuck. They're centre backs. Put one of them in and get our midfield back into midfield, because that's the whole purpose of the enterprise, isn't it? You're buying these fellas so the lads in midfield aren't playing in fucking centre half. People are pointing out, if it
was a different game, he would have done it, But City probably just felt he had to go with the reliable, tried and tested, and maybe that's what influenced them not throwing them in. I think from now, you might see certainly come back straight into that team.
Yeah. Battery says 3 years we've been class. For me, the future is the worry. FSG. We're going to get on to where to now or where to next later on, Battery. So we will bring that up as well. Just looking at the first 20 minutes, and Grizz, I'll come back to you because it was an intriguing first 20 minutes. I thought
it was very, very intriguing. I actually managed it this time. I actually managed in terms of blocking out the commentary, because I honestly thought that was one of the worst commentated matches ever. But forget them, fuck them. I don't even want to mention them. In terms of the game, it was exactly how I thought it was going to be. City had a game plan. City were setting traps all over the place, waiting for us to start off like a house on fire. The usual Liverpool, when it's Liverpool City. and we come out all guns blazing. We were never going to do that because of the confidence levels of this team. You also take into consideration you're playing a Man City team that's just on the back of 13 wins in a row. And I think majority of them clean sheets, lads. So when we talk about Man City, we're talking about this machine that's been sort of slowly clicking into gear, and now it's peaking. We've talked about this being a mad league. We've talked about this being problematic for all teams, etc., etc. They've just won 10 league games in a row. And I hate to say it, but I said it 3 months ago. By the end of January, they'll have a 10-point lead, looking at their fixtures and the way it's going. I didn't expect us to come out all guns blazing. I knew we'd be low on confidence, but I thought we'd done okay.
You thought City have a 10-point lead, Grizz?
Yeah, 6 to 8 point lead, I said, but it's turned out to be 10. I said about 6 to 8 point lead.
So you'd expect us to drop points against West Brom, Brighton?
No, I expected points to be dropped against Spurs and West Ham, which we won. Fair. So it's mad. It's mad. But the thing is...
Yeah, sorry, just to go back quickly, Dinesh's super chat, he says, I think Klopp should have taken a gamble and played Nat Phillips and the new centre-half, move Fabinho and Henderson back in the midfield. I think we're missing the fans at Anfield. 1-1, we go on and win with fans there. But go on, Grizz, sorry, I just want to get that out of the way because I didn't want to be lost.
Yeah, so that opening 20 minutes panned out exactly how I thought it was going to pan out. I didn't think we're as bad as the commentators were making out or some fans on social media making out. We were very safe. Probably the best way to describe our passing in every part of the field. Our front lads look shot again of confidence, absolutely shot of confidence. And I'm afraid, THIAGO set the tone with that early yellow card. He just,
it's an issue.
It is an issue, maybe. He just couldn't press, or our midfielders couldn't press with the same intensity after that. Yeah. So look. But with regards to that opening 20 minutes, I thought they were very clever in how they set off because, look, they didn't have to chase the game. They absolutely, I think Seany says, we were the ones that needed 3 points just for our confidence for the top 4 challenge, not for the title, but just sort of, show them that, we're still here. We're not, you're not going to sort of bat us away, which they did in the end. But I thought the opening 20 minutes was very coy, very careful. I thought it was very strategic, but I don't think we were as bad as people made out.
Yeah, Battery says VVD is first game. He never played City, so no way 2 new centre backs. I think with Van Dijk, what happened there was I think he makes his debut against Everton. I think he has a small issue, and that's why he doesn't play in the league game against Man City. Following shortly on from that. Let me see, Keith. I'll come to you next. I think Grizz is right. I think City were trying to set traps. They had a lot of the ball, but I was quite comfortable in that. I thought, Liverpool are going in. They're not high on confidence. Again, a bit of a makeshift side. The midfield has changed again. And they're probably just trying to feel their way into the game. And I thought it was a not an intelligent approach by Liverpool, but an understandable approach, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think we done the preview show the other night, me and Seany with Steve, the Man City fan, and we heaped praise on Man City defensively as a unit. And I didn't think they were very good in the first half. I thought Ruben Diaz, who we talked up as a big player for them, and who Jamie Carragher's compared to Virgil van Dijk's influence at Liverpool, I thought he was very sloppy on the ball. But we just were that bit off it. We were just that bit off, and we were feeling our way in, and we got into the game and we done a lot better. I see, those criticism will go. Bobby is the easy target in the front when it's not working out. I didn't think Mo was great, and Sadio's suffering from that hair transplant that he's after having as well. The lads weren't really at the races up front, but it wasn't one of them games. It looked like it was going to be, and the scoreline doesn't reflect how I felt the game was going. It was a cagey match. The first half was very, very cagey. Do you know what I mean? It was a real... Well, yeah, they might have been laying traps. Well, I don't even think City were that good. And this isn't to dig out City. I think that's giving them too much credit. I thought they were sloppy, Grizz. I thought they were sloppy themselves.
But it was a very un-Pep-like performance from City. They were patient today. They didn't overextend and any... But I agree with you. There was times where... Look, we went in 0-0 at half time, and I was thinking, like, these are fucking there to be got at. If we just switch on and go up a gear here, but it never happened. It never happened. And Keith, you were saying Bobby's an easy target. I think a serious conversation needs to start around Bobby Firmino these days.
I agree, Seany, 100%.
If you're looking in, if I'm being honest, probably the last 12 to 16 months, you'd be quicker to pick out the good performances than you would to pick out the bad performances. So you'd have a harder time literally sifting through to find a good performance. And look, I think he's played football constantly since 2017, 18. I think I don't think that's. I think he's been playing. He just looks bollocks, and he's a player who massively relies on his energy, and it's just not there.
I agree.
And it's affecting us up the top end of the pitch to no end, because this is where you don't really. People were critical of Bobby, saying he was poor when he wasn't scoring, but he was doing the rest, and that was grand because the front two. Let's call it, to be honest, the front two of Mane and Salah were able to do that thing because he was occupying so much space. He's no longer doing that. So now we are seeing exactly how much we need to do to even carve out a chance. Like, look at the goals against West Ham. It's 2 moments of genius from Mo, and then it's a penalty today. When's the last time a goal kind of happened for us? It hasn't. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And I'm not one for throwing players under the bus or anything like that, but it's something that we do need to think about going forward. I think
it's the upgrade that's needed, isn't it? It's the glaring upgrade.
Maybe even a change of tack. Maybe not a false 9 anymore. Maybe a target man. Maybe something different. Like, I don't know. Maybe push Mo into the middle and maybe look to get an out-and-out winger in summer or something like that. That's something obviously we'll probably talk about later on. But it's something now that has really starting to worry me now is Bobby's form.
I think the Bobby conversation must have been brought up sort of with our recruitment team and sort of our coaches as well. And that's why we, again, fucking how unlucky are we, but that's why we went with THIAGO and Jota to change it up. So THIAGO, a totally different midfielder to anyone that we've got in the club, and Jota, who would give them absolute different options and more options. And look, after 10 games, we're on top of the table. So it's working. Something was working. Something was going fine. This 4-2-4, or however you want to put it onto a formation, was working because it got us to the top of the table and scoring goals. And Jota was 7 in 7 or whatever. But he gets injured. And then my criticism of Klopp is when he gets injured, when Jota gets injured, we haven't tried that system again, lads. We haven't tried any variation of any formation.
There's no real alternative without Jota, though, is there really?
Try it. No, there is, Seany. We try against West Ham and we're a fucking different animal. So it's bewildering.
Yeah. We've reverted to where were you a different animal against West Ham? Because the first 45 against West Ham was very samey as to what was happening. It was a moment of magic from Mao that really turned that game on its head. So
in the West Ham game, the difference was, Seany, it encouraged the formation that we picked against West Ham, encouraged our wingers, wing backs, Trent and Robertson, to come alive again because we had far more control in the middle. With this 4-3-3, I thought our fullbacks were poor again because they were so scared to go forward again, because Mahrez and Sterling's instructions were very clear and very simple. Stay as wide and stay as high as possible. And then they just cramped the midfield. It was, I know, Keith, you say that Man City weren't impressive. I thought when you go to Anfield and you're playing a resurgent Liverpool, and your keeper hasn't to make one single save, I think you've done a grand job.
I don't know, and I'm just going to jump in there because in the first half, I thought Trent was playing excellent and Sterling was absolute poi in that first half. I thought he was absolute shy, and he gets the penalty, and it's a burst in the second half, and everyone's waxing lyrical about Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden and this and that. The first half, Grizz, I didn't think they were up to much at all, and that's I'm not saying they weren't up to much. I thought it was a good, cagey match. It was a different approach from Pep. But I'm not heaping blame praise on their attacking play in the first half. I thought I didn't think they were up
Fair
to much
enough,
at
yeah.
all. You know, really
No.
didn't. And that's not having a pop at Man City. I genuinely thought that Trent was very good in the first half. He was up in the attack. He was supporting the attack. He gets the cross in for Mane's header. You know, he's doing well. He's beat his man a few times. Zinchenko was struggling on that side of the pitch. And the game turned in... We'll come on to why the game fucking turns, but the game turns and then we're just gone. Do you know what I mean? So, well, I'm not trying to say Man City weren't good. I'm saying in the first half, it was a very
They managed
Man
the game
City
very well, though. I think they managed
as
the
it
game
went
very
on,
well.
they did. But we didn't create much. And if we're not creating much against that defence, you know, we said it good all night. They don't give up too many chances. And when your chances come, you have to take them. And we didn't take them. And my thing about Bobby, just before I finish up on that, I'm not trying to say, oh, Bobby gets singled out. I just mean Bobby can be upgraded, certainly. But it takes the pressure off the others who maybe aren't hitting the form as well. You know, Salah's been good recently. I'll put my hand up on that. But Mane gets away with it as well, you know. So it's just unfortunate with the shot.
There was a couple of really bad individual performances. I thought THIAGO was awful today. Thought he looked great. You said he sets the tone with that, and I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's like, their type of thing. Like Scholes done that for years and got away with it, and Kante. But THIAGO doesn't seem to be getting away with it. I think it was Southampton. He gets booked early as well, forced challenge, and there was another game I'm nearly sure, but he gets booked forced challenge. He just. I understand that's his crux, that he floats through games, and I get that and the bits of magic, but he's got to up the intensity. He really does. Right? He struggled today. He was chasing shallows from early on because of a yellow card. And Gizmo was in there saying, sorry, Gizmo was the one who told me last week that THIAGO would struggle on Sunday, and to be fair to him, the nail was on the head because he did. He struggled from minute one, and I'm not writing him off because, like Grizz said, THIAGO and Jota, I think they were bought for the same. We've seen Jota getting in behind. I think THIAGO will work far better in this team when there's a Virgil there who's going to have this team pushed up, and we're just pinning you in your own half, zinging the ball around. But it's not working at the moment, and it's up to Klopp to spot these things because it hasn't been working. It's just they look like that second. It's too tentative. It's too timid from Liverpool at the moment. Curtis Jones, who I thought was excellent today, burst forward and he's turning back in on himself.
Yeah.
We're normally bang, 2-3 touches and it's in the back of the net. It's just not there at the moment. It's not happening. Like, there's a serious lack of mojo fucking going around the front three at the moment. Yeah. And we need to play our way over because there's no transfer window. There's no one coming in here to save us. Yeah, Jota is a shot in the arm when he comes back, but he's coming up after quite a long layoff. So these boys need to pull up their fucking socks because we can't just keep banging the injury drum. Because it's done now. We know what sort of situation we're in. We've got to pull our socks up and put points on the board because it'll get to a stage where it's April and May and you're still clawing to keep in top four. Yeah. And that's what we're at the moment.
Yeah, it is. Imran with the super chat, he says a cause of Bobby's form is a knock-on effect, and that might be a case. There could be a case for that, but I think there is players that aren't playing to their potential. You know, there most definitely is, and you know we can laud them one week, but the next week they're not good. You have to say they're not good, and there was a lot of them out there that were okay today for me. They were okay, but like Seany said, this, and we keep going back to it. We're going through a hard spot at the minute. We need players to stand up. We need them to stand up and go, listen, we're not taking this, and we don't care. And like, there's loads of injuries and there's loads of things going against you, and that's okay. And come the end of the season, we'll probably look and go, lads, it wasn't too bad. Look what fucking happened to us. But at the same time, in the moment, you have to turn around and go, he needs to do more. He needs to do more. It's not like they're doing everything they can and it's still not working. If they were doing that, you go, listen, they're doing everything they possibly can here, and they're just being unlucky.
I think they are, Gav. I think effort-wise, if you're asking effort-wise, and Klopp said this, effort-wise...
I'm not questioning their effort.
So what are you saying? Do more what?
I would say do more technically. I think that you can be as energetic and put in as much effort as you want, but I keep going back to it. They're not brave enough for me, Chris. They're simply not brave enough.
I think Klopp...
they're becoming passive, and that's affecting everything we're doing. And listen,
that's the reason.
I'm one of the last ones that will kick and scream about Liverpool and
lads,
slate players.
isn't Klopp big on risk taking? Isn't he?
Yeah.
That's
but Seany,
when we were flying, he always talks about when he was given like positive thoughts on this. He always turns around. They took risks and this. He's big on risk taking, and I'm nearly sure Klopp is pushing it on them, but subconsciously the boys aren't doing it. You can see. I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face. The big switch, it's gone completely out of the game because the lads are afraid of that life of the counter attack. How many times this season have you got just done by just one ball? It's happened an awful lot of the time, and
that's exactly what I was going to say.
It's a systematic thing.
Absolutely. You talked about earlier. I think you said it, or something about the knock-on effect, or someone in the chat, said it. The cause of changes in formation. So when you've got sort of, and it's not. This is what some people are not understanding or grasping. That when you got sort of 2-3 positional changes and players playing in positions they're not used to playing, the uncertainty is absolutely understandable. They're not sure of what pass to make, when to make it. And that has a knock-on effect up to our forwards, who everyone from fucking, who's it, Jermaine Genius and Roy Keane and the like are saying, well, you've still got your forwards playing. It's not as simple as that. It's not as simplistic as that. They're still up front, but the rest of the team is jigged about so much. Even Ginny's been playing number 6 and then a number 8. Role changes every game. Milner, THIAGO started off as a 6, now number 8. The centre backs being DMs or number 8s in Henderson's case. So and then as a result of that, the fullbacks not knowing when to go, when not to go. Ours was a well-oiled machine, probably the best oiled machine of football. Absolutely, you could say 14 players knowing exactly where to be, when to be. Immaculate. There's
no probably about it. Yeah. Absolutely no probably about it.
Well, look, does Christopher Scott says we can't rely on Bobby to dictate how we play. We need a plan A, B, C, and D. I think that's absolutely fair.
But like Grizz says, though, that's a system thing as well, Gav. It's a well-oiled machine, and if one part does not work, and then the rest doesn't. Now,
but then you could go back to the argument that you have to let Firmino off with some of his form because it's a system thing. And no,
because after Project Restart, Firmino was poor, Gav. When the two boys were there, he was poor. The ball was bouncing on him, and that's grand. Look, the only one who talks sense today, and I know he's getting lashed out of it, Gary Neville had about, I think, 30 seconds where he actually switched his brain on, because look, don't let all the shite and the sky that comes out. I noticed that. Don't let all the shite that comes out of Sky and the winding up that goes on in the gantry cloud their judgment. Gary Neville has probably forgotten more about football than the 4 of us and everyone in this chat included, because he's been there, done that, and wore all the fucking t-shirts, playing in title-winning team after title-winning team. And he took 30 seconds out of the absolute shit show that was that commentary team today and said, look, this is a blip. It's nothing more than that. This was absolutely expected. This team have been at it for 3 seasons straight. This was going to happen. There's actually no causation for panic, because this is a completely natural thing in a football team cycle. And this is what's happening here. And it's kind of forced. Normally this happens when players get a little bit older and they just become stagnant and have to move on. This is all being rapidly accelerated by the loss of players and injury. And like you said, like Grizz said, it's a fucking well-oiled machine. It's a well-oiled machine. If you have Van Dijk and Gomez there with the recovery pace of centre-backs like nobody else in Europe, the distribution, it's all in place there. They made the 2 perfect systematic signings with THIAGO, who gave us something that we felt we needed in midfield, and Jota, who was another. Now, obviously, when we signed Jota, we didn't realise he was going to be as good as he was. Yeah. But these fuckers who are paid the paper, seeing exactly what he was able to do for the team,
I'd love to know City fans. I'd love to know City fans, did they really imagine Gomez and Virgil at the back there? Are you trying to say Foden and Mahrez and the like and Gundogan would have tried to outrun or play that way against Gomez? Do you know what I mean? So
no, that's what I'm saying. Whatever way we went in midfield or at the back suited City, because City were coming. I think City might have been a bit surprised. I haven't even got on to the beyond 20 minutes here. But I think City were arriving at Anfield, and I think they might have been. They'd more of the ball in the first 20, and I think they would have been surprised by that. For the simple reason, I think they would have thought we're going to go in here, lads, and these are wounded and they're going to come out like fucking animals at us. And they were set up clearly to play on the counter. And try suck it up and see what they could hit Liverpool with, because they knew, regardless of what way we went with the two at the back and the two and the three in midfield, there was going to be gaps, simply because we're trying to put square pegs in round holes. And that's where the argument comes to centre half. Why did we put centre halves in? Kevin Borland says THIAGO was bought to play alongside Fabinho and Henderson. He's played every minute out of position since his injury return. Yeah. Not THIAGO's fault. You see. Yeah, no, that is fair, but lads, I have to move around. 20 to 45, I think Liverpool become the better team in it. I think they get a stranglehold. They start looking that there's a bit more zip to their passing. There's a bit more movement. There's a bit more belief. City don't look as assured. And then, Seany, I'll come to you. Then the penalty comes, and I don't know. There was some people arguing over this. That is a fucking stonewall penalty. And
yeah, absolutely.
There's no argument, is there?
Yeah, it's just. It was a centre. Like, there you go. Fabinho's been excellent for us this year. He's in with a shout for Air Player of the Year. But at the end of the day, the fella's not a centre back. He has probably spent his whole career making that challenge in midfield, and it just being cynical. This is at the very, very top level. At the very top level in these games. Because let's not get it twisted, right? People make it one, although we're not at the moment. Today, what you're seeing is the two best teams in England. That's what it is. Yeah. In their best moments, they're both the best teams in England by a considerable amount. A lot of these games are played out in instinct. I remember reading quotes from Marcelo about when he played in the El Clasico. You literally play 90 minutes and you'd forget what you had to do in 20 seconds before, because you're literally playing in the moment every single time. It's so intense that you're literally playing an autopilot. That was a centre midfielder's challenge today in the box by Fabinho. That's exactly what it was. He sticks his leg out and tags him, not knowing that THIAGO was covering him. If Virgil lets him go there and THIAGO covers and makes a last minute tackle, pulls him out. Now, being THIAGO, he probably fucking fouls him and gets sent off the way he's playing at the moment. But so this is where we're struggling, and these seasons have hung on the finest margins in the latest time. But these games are always, even when you're on the best, it's still by fine margins. And that's exactly what it was today. I thought from 20 to 40, we were much better, Gav. We did look like we were having a go. And that's why when we went in at half-time, I was thinking to myself, do you know what? If we just come out and go up a gear here, we might be able to get something. Because we all know what happens to City when they go a goal down. Look, and this isn't something new. They do seem a little bit gutless like that, because it's been happening to them not only last season, early this season. And they haven't been conceding many. So I was thinking, if you can get one here, we might be able to pop them. But it never happened for us. I mean, they come out, we'll get on to it now, but they come out in the second half with just that bit more bite and hunger. And it showed today. They were the ones today coming to take that title back. And that's what it was.
Yeah, just to let you know, there was people in the chat and there was problems going on. We have added about 12 new moderators, so there'll be plenty of people, about 12. So there's loads of people there. The likes of Rajiv, Free World, A Loringer has been added. There's a load of them there that have been added. If they don't realise if they look, they'll have a little spanner beside their name, and they can go and they can be they're moderators, so they just no need to time anybody out. If they're being bowled, boys, just fucking ban them.
Don't react to them. That's what I'd say. Don't react to the comments.
Yeah, there's no reaction to the comments like that. You just, anyone that's in there that's a moderator now, if you see a comment that's, listen, the people having a go with each other, but if you see comments in there that are just ridiculous, the likes of Hillsborough with loads of smiley faces, just ban them. Don't time them out, just ban them. Okay. Kieran Thorne has been added as a moderator, so he's looking for a spanner. Just keep looking, you'll find it. It's there. Grizz, the penalty itself, just on a note, he gets inside Trent way too easy, and he's going into a bit of danger. It's the back leg of Fabinho that kind of has a flick at him. But the penalty itself, Grizz, they don't like taking penalties at Anfield, do they?
No, they don't, do they? But I must say, it was the only blip in a masterful display from the fellow who missed it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. He missed the penalty. You know, Mahrez missed a penalty. Kevin De Bruyne missed, but that's the third penalty they've missed in a row against us. And we've said this before. Alisson doesn't save many, but he seems to have this aura where people genuinely think they have to get it in the top bins to beat him. Do you know what I mean? And the margin of error is, not very big when that happens. Awful penalty. Trent's defending. I'm with Keith. I think Trent handled Sterling on the whole very well, but that was one of maybe 2 times where he let Sterling come inside too much. But again, lads, this is not defense of Trent. Maybe it is, because his one-on-one defending has been criticised in the past, but it's improved. Like so many times he nicked the ball away from Sterling. But again, he's expected to receive cover from Henderson as a right-sided midfielder there.
Yep.
And he doesn't have that. He has THIAGO there, and THIAGO doesn't know where to be in a Liverpool system yet. It's a total, or maybe he hasn't got the legs to be there. THIAGO's a total different type of player. So there is, and we have to admit it, there is issues and with the formation and sort of the small fine margins of where each player is. And when you're playing at this level, it's the fine margins that make the difference. And so to us, it may be, Trent let him in too easy, but Trent's so used to defending on the making sure the winger doesn't go on the outside of him, because if he knows he cuts inside, Henderson or Gini is there to double up. But it was too easy. And Fabinho made a midfielder's challenge.
Yeah.
And so it was a penalty, 100%. But I thought Gundogan was absolutely. It was a masterclass. He was popping off passes, guys, that we couldn't even see on the screen. We didn't think that he spotted that. The magnificent first-time passes. Yeah. So to be honest with you, today, Gav, I knew he was good. Right, I knew he was good, but I'm going to own up and say I didn't know he was that good. And today,
he's a quality.
I saw how good he is.
He is quality. Olivier says, for Keane, and I've noted this, Olivier, so that's noted. We were top of Christmas for the 3rd year running without centre-backs. Yeah, Liverpool are finished. It's all wishful thinking. We'll be back. And S. Lumby 666 says, I'm a City fan. I thought it was a great game. Tactically great to watch. It's about time we won at Anfield. Gundogan was class today. And I think
that's
100%.
That's actually my man, Steve. So shout out
is
to
that
Steve
him?
there.
That's Steve.
Lumby,
okay, so Steve, no, in fairness, you have a spot on there.
Give City the flowers today. If you were on neutral watching that today, watching Gundogan and Foden, they were both.
We haven't touched upon Foden yet. Maybe Gav will.
They are magic. Look, they were magic, and I thought there was another few individuals who were very good for them today. Just who went about the business. It's the best I've seen Rodri playing in City. He looked like he was up the pace for them. He was getting about a bit, but Gundogan. Look, Gundogan should be a marker to any Liverpool fan now who's kind of putting down THIAGO, because it takes time. It takes fucking time to learn the way England works. Now, THIAGO is probably, like someone said, he come in to play with Hendo and Fabinho, and he hasn't been there since, and that's grand. That's all right. We'll see the best of THIAGO in a couple of weeks against Leipzig. Trust me. We'll see in Europe the speed of the game. You'll see the complete difference. But if we're going back to Man City, Phil Foden was immaculate today. I think he's 20. I said in the WhatsApp today, I think he'd be world class by the time he's 21. I take it back. I think he's already world class, to be honest with you.
But Dominic plays enough, does he?
We'll go on. We'll get into it. I'm gonna segue on Alisson for the second goal. But fuck me. Well, Phil Foden has an awful lot to do.
Yeah,
awful lot to do.
with
that there, and it's unbelievable what that kid is able to. He's class.
Yeah, he is. He's absolute quality. I mean, we might talk a little bit about a couple of City players in a bit. Luke Johnson says, love your analysis, lads, but I have to disagree with the idea that centre-backs are so heavily impacting the attacking poor play. These are meant to be world-class attackers. I think what we're getting at, Luke, is, yeah, don't get me wrong, we've said Mane is being poor at times, Salah, Firmino, Origi, whoever it might be. But what we're saying is you have to take a little bit of context of the whole side, because we're so used to this whole side being so functionally good and then allowing these players to express themselves massively. Whereas now at the moment, you're probably seeing a side that are stepping off things a little bit, delaying things a little bit, not sure whether to absolutely go for something because they're worried about what's behind them, because they all work as a team, and I think that's what you're seeing at the moment. But I think it's a fair point to say that the attackers at times haven't been good enough.
It's not just the front three, but it's the wing, the fullbacks as well is the big impact, I think, on the centre backs. Do you know what I mean? Like last season, we knew that Trent and Robertson were one of our main outlets for breaking down teams, and they're the ones I think that are suffering the most from the lack of centre backs.
Kieran Doyle puts in a super chat, but doesn't say anything. So Kieran, if you want to say something to us, go ahead and say it. But lads, it's 0-0 at half time. But City score 4 minutes into the second half. I think it's 4 minutes into the second half. Keith, I'll come to you. I was disappointed because I just thought, you know what, we did better the second half of the first half. I wanted to see us kind of have another go with them and see where we're getting. You know, because we were always a bit on edge because of the side we have out and the form we're in. But I wanted get to the hour and having a go with them and then see what they're made of. But it wasn't to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We got to the second half of the first half. We were the better team, and then we got off the hook with the penalty miss as well. So you think you get in there, you regroup. It's like, right, Man City at this point, I don't think had been attacking excellently. It's probably fair to say, but we just give it up too easy. We just give it up too easy when it does happen. What the first goal? That's the Gundogan. Is that the one where the
Alisson saves off,
pushes it straight out? Is it? Yeah. I mean, it's not great by Alisson, really. In my opinion, I don't think he's putting it anywhere near out of danger. Do you know what I mean? But it's good play by Foden. He makes space.
No, Sterling.
Sterling. Does Foden not hit that in now?
No, Sterling.
Sterling comes inside.
Yeah, but hits the shot, parties it out. Gundogan taps it in. Gundogan's been excellent. As we've touched on there, the lads have both said he's been brilliant for them. And it's come, we spoke to Steve Jordan night, a bit of a positional change from as well, that he's a bit more attacking, a bit less in the number 6 role, for want of a better word as well. He's just so clever on the ball. But for him as well, he misses the penalty, and straight away, second half, that's gone out of his mind because he pings one in. Just a signal at the time.
I want to add something to that, but I want Seany to just sort of deal with this comment before we carry on.
Hold on. Why is Alisson getting a free ride? Is he winding me up?
That's why I let you at him.
Why is Alisson getting a free ride? Because I tell you what, there's been 11, like Grizz said, 14 players in the last 2 years who have literally took us to another pantheon in world football, and he is one of them. Why is Alisson getting a free ride? Where would we be without Alisson? You seen how fucking terrible we are with Adrian and goal. Kelleher has done all right. Alisson will get a free. Alisson can do that for another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 fucking games if he wants. That man has that much credit in the bank. So back him, because you had a bad game today. Why aren't we throwing fucking Alisson under the bus?
But you know what,
we're not idiots. That's why.
You're right. And he was out sick as well the other day. He misses a game with a sickness.
I was just going to say,
I mean? An absolute ridiculous thing to say. Why is Alisson getting a free ride? He's obviously on the wind up. Has to be a United fan.
Well, we're gonna get on to Alisson in a few minutes, right? I
just want to add on Keith's point about sort of the start of the second half. I mean, I know you put it to him, but I want to give credit. I'm not an arse slick, as everyone knows, for other teams. I love my fucking team, right? But sometimes, the real footballman out of me comes out, right? And I thought the changes that Pep made at halftime were far more significant and effective and changed the tone of the game. Now, I know maybe Keith doesn't see it like me, but that's fine. We can discuss and chat. I thought he made the effective changes. He went to near enough a 4-4-2, and Gundogan was to find your midfielders in our penalty area shows their intent after that break. Now, we can talk about their intent in the first half and say they backed off, they let us have the ball, and they weren't very sort of adventurous going forward, knowing that we can counter, and vice versa. We knew that. But I thought after the second half, when he weathered the storm, and once he saw that we're not up to much here, he was brave enough to change it. And I thought it's a testimony into terms of, if you see a lot of their goals, there's about 3 or 4 of their players in our penalty area all the time. And I thought that was a change of intent from Pep, and kudos to him. Klopp couldn't do that. I don't know if he didn't have the players, didn't have the bottle, his mind wasn't switched on, don't know, for whatever reason, and that's open to chat and debate. But he didn't match that change. And when he did, it was far too late and the changes were ineffective.
It's an easy change for us. You can go to a 4-4-2 diamond with the personnel that were on the pitch if needs be, if he wanted to change it up. But Pep was just that bit ahead of him today. And you know, it's easy to say Pep was ahead of Klopp today. One team is on an amazing run and one team is on a downward spiral where confidence is at an all-time low. Do you know what I mean? So it was very well done by Pep. Pep's one of the greatest managers of the last, the modern game, of the modern era. He's not a mug.
Ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
He's not a mug. Pep Guardiola looks at that and he knows we're the bleeding, we're a wounded animal, but he could tell by that we're not the wounded animal that's coming out of the bleeding traps to get them. We were one or two chances, but we weren't doing that. And so he knew, right, we can get these, we can go for these now in the second half. And the little change, it done it. He saw that he was nullifying any threat that we had, and they battered us then.
Yeah, well, like for me looking at that goal, it's a carbon copy of the penalty for me with Sterling. Sterling is literally getting to Trent, slowing him down, dropping his shoulder, coming inside him and just leaving him. And Trent is looking at him going inside, going. And again, it looked to me like Trent was looking, going, well, if he goes inside here, I have a fella beside me that's going to look after. That's not letting Trent off. I think there's too much of that goes on. If Trent wants to face him up that way, he needs to take a step to his left and say, I'm not letting you inside. You're going down the outside or you're going fucking nowhere. And what happens is he goes in and he says, I'll half look at going out, pushing it down the outside. As soon as he pushes in, he's inside him and you can't touch him. You see it for a couple of the goals today. Even the one Foden flicks to the back post for Sterling to score. You see Liverpool players are absolutely terrified to touch him. Was it Bernardo? Sorry. He absolutely terrified to touch him. You know what I mean? Because oh fuck, if we go near him, we know what's happening. But it's 1-0. Seany, I'll come back to you. And LFC Aaron says, why was Curtis subbed? He was our best player. Getting onto that next, buddy. Getting onto that next. That's why I left it up there. But Seany, I come to you. It's a ball by Trent down the side. And our centre half tries to be too cute. He gets overconfident on it. And I'd say Guardiola lost his fucking shit over it. Because all he has to do is let that run beyond him and pass it back to the goalkeeper. He tries a flick. It hits off Salah. He goes through. And you know what? I have to say, it's a soft penalty. Soft penalty. Soft as fuck. But the only thing I will say is he hasn't been doing enough of that this season. Where he gets the arm pulled and hit the deck like a light. Just keep doing it. Because any hand on you now is a penalty. And he learned and he get the penalty and he sticks it away well, Seany.
Yeah, it's a brilliant penalty. I think you always, like, if you had told me we could sub on Milner to take that penalty today, I would have said yeah, because I don't know what it is about. Something about left footers taking penalties just doesn't sit right with me. But in fairness, his record is immaculate. And he banged it away. In fairness, I thought Mal was the most on it at the front three.
Yeah.
When it happened, I didn't think it was a penalty. But fuck it, how many of these this season have we had where we didn't even get a look in? So yeah, Diaz, who we were bigging up all week, makes us look like we're talking shite and haven't got a clue. But we got back into the game where it looked like it was going to be, could have been one of those games then where we could have played until fucking tomorrow and we wouldn't have scored, you know what I mean? Because we didn't really work Edison at all in the second half. We really didn't. And that was the disappointing part. And then it goes 1-1 and you're saying, look, will we have a go here and get going? But it just never happened. We equalised and they nearly go down the other end of the pitch and score from the kickoff. Mm-hmm. So it was just one of them games where we never really got going. By the last 20 in the first half, it was very, very flat.
Yeah, he sticks away well, and I'm thinking on the balance of it, 1-1 is probably about right. Just because of the instance that happened, I know they miss a penalty and stuff like that, but I'm thinking, yeah, it's an even enough game, 1-1 at this stage. Let's see what happens. Kieran says the game is the same as always between the two teams. Both are capable of blitzing clear in a 10-minute spell. Happened countless times over the years. Banter FC says THIAGO needs a few games out. He's been woeful the last couple of games. That's what I want to get on to. Grizz, I'll come to you. It's 1-1, and then we make these changes. And I was mystified by them, Grizz. I have to be honest.
I was with you, but I think they sort of, to me, they sort of showed where Klopp is mentally. Seany touched upon his braveness usually, but he didn't go totally brave and just bring on Shaq. He bought an insurance policy. Sorry, I've got a little cough.
Is he all right?
It's the longest cough ever. I just like cough it out, Chris.
It's not
Now,
as easy as
where
that. But yeah, look, in a normal situation, you expect changes and you expect the home team and the team that's going for the 3 points to make the positive changes. So you can understand Shaq coming on, right? What you can't understand is Shaq coming on for I'm trying to think, is he the most informed central midfielder we got at the moment? He was having the best game.
THIAGO?
No, Jones. He brought on Jones, didn't he?
No,
He
Shaq
took off
comes on
Jones.
for THIAGO. Shaq came on for THIAGO.
Wasn't it a
Which
double
was fair
situation?
enough. Yeah, it
Wasn't
was.
Yeah, it was a double, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Milner for Jones, Shaq for.
But the fact that it was a double substitution, it showed to me he brings on an insurance policy alongside him with Milner, which shows that he wasn't as brave as normal, he wasn't as daring as normal, and that's where his mental state is, as well as the team's. And that was the worrying part for me, lads. That normally we see Klopp making the brave calls. He could have kept Jones alongside Gini, and then brought on Shaqiri as well. But he, the fact that he sort of kind of leveled it out and balanced him, tried to bring on Shaqiri with a bodyguard of Milner, kind of back to square one. Shaqiri hasn't been a good sub since, I don't know, the Man United game when he came on and scored 2 goals. Do you remember, guys? Shaqiri, I don't know. It's a difficult one to understand. I couldn't understand it at the time.
He's had a few moments, but like I agree with you. You wouldn't hang your hat on him coming off the bench to change a game, because it just hasn't been a consistent.
But Seany, the fact that
Jones
Jones wasn't doing anything wrong is more confusing than the fact Shaqiri came on. Like if it wasn't working for Jones, then you could understand. How often do we say, "Oh, come on, bring off Jones, bring on Shaqiri"?
Yeah.
Something
and
different.
I thought THIAGO was the obvious change. I thought whipping
he's
THIAGO
only
out
yellow,
was the obvious
definitely.
change. He's only yellow. He looks a bit leggy. He's not really affecting the game. And I thought, I remember when the camera was flashing on Jones, and I said, "Do you know what? Jones is actually being very good here." And then I just realized he was getting whipped off. I was like, "Nah."
But again, looking at our subs bench, I cried. I cried for the Yoks that we know what we bought, what we thought we were buying, or how we thought it's going to turn out. I cried for Naby Keita. Where are these people in times of need? And that's what it comes down to. We can talk about sort of Klopp's options, and I've criticized him for his changes and his mindset, but you can't criticize him if he hasn't got the options on the bench that he should have, that he thought he's going to have in terms of the strength of squad, the Nabbies, the Yoxes. Where are they?
The two coming off was fine, but it was the two to bring on Milner and to bring on Shaq when you look at the benches isn't the worst of what's on there. And to take off THIAGO was the right thing to do, but to take off Curtis Jones was not the right thing to do, because he was impacting. He has the chance where he cuts in and he fires one just wide of the post. He's looking to get on the ball. He's looking to make things happen, and none of the others were. Now, if he wanted to bring on Milner and Shaq, he should have taken off maybe Bobby and THIAGO and just trying to change things a little bit like that. To take off Jones was a bit of a strange one, because he was impacting it, and he was the only one in the midfield. Like Gini, I thought was terrible today, but terrible is probably a strong word, a bit leggy, but he wasn't impacting it. And do you know what I mean? And it's Jones was, and to take him out for Milner, it just.
I couldn't believe Jones. I couldn't believe Jones come off. I will say it now. Klopp gets it completely wrong, in my opinion, because we're talking there. Banter FC says the loyalty to Firmino was costing us go 4-4-2 like City. Like we're talking there about City going from a 4-3-3 and just subtly to a 4-4-2. He could have easily left Jones on there, right? And he could have said, right, if he wants to get Milner on the pitch for THIAGO, walk away, do it. If he wants to get Shaqiri on, do it, but don't take off Jones. Well, he could have easily just said, right, I'm sticking Salah up front, and I'm going to play Shaqiri off him, and I'm going to play Jones off the right, Manning off the left, and get the other two lads in midfield, and just make it like a 4-5-1 hybrid sort. Do something different. But for me, looking at that midfield, Jones is the freshest of them all, without a shadow of a doubt, because THIAGO's coming back from an injury. He's playing out of position, as people will tell you, and he's not fully up to speed for me. Wijnaldum looks out on his feet, okay, and then you're bringing on a Milner for him, a fucking Milner for him. That was on his knees on Wednesday night or Thursday, whatever night it was, and I just could not make sense of this. If you want to get Milner and Shaqiri on, there's way more ways of doing it in that team than Jones shouldn't have been touched for me. He just should not have been shouldn't have been touched. Motti says Grizz hasn't been quoted in Norway this week. So he needs to step up. Of course, he was quoted in the Norwegian Fan Supporters Club a couple of weeks back. But
Jota and Naby to start first team training this week. Get that over in Norway. Get that quoted out.
There you go. And Banter says game is over in 75. Why not give Kabak a run out? That's not a bad point. But I just, for me, Klopp gets it completely wrong in A, taking Jones off, and I think B, in putting Milner on, because he's a fella that's on his knees during the week, and you want to come into a game of that intensity and get going again. I thought he was wrong.
I think he wanted to kill head, but didn't he? He wanted someone to just play the ball down.
I'll tell you what happened. He went to 1-1 and he bottled it, in my opinion. And that's
went to 1-1 and wanted to just get someone that wasn't going to take. He was taking the risk factor out of the. He was bringing in Milner to say, right.
But he was inviting City on. He was inviting City on by doing this.
I'm totally with Gav, because what it is, he saw Pep change the formation. He alluded to it after in the press conference. He's talked about City changing their shape and going to 4-4-2, and Gav's absolutely right. He didn't, for whatever reason, maybe it's the personnel he had at his disposal, but he didn't have the balls to change it, match it, or anything. What he done instead was just change the personnel in their formation, which wasn't working. They had swamped that formation. They had covered that. They had that formation in total control. That second half was a walk in the park for them, honestly.
Yeah, but Stephen O'Connor says there he was settling for the draw. Why are Liverpool settling for the draw in this game? It's not like we're 7 points clear with a game in hand. If it's the opposite, you go, lads, we've a couple of injuries. We got to 1-1. Let's change this and go a little bit more defensive, because you have to remember, A, Milner is more defensive than Jones, right? And B, Shaqiri's not going to sit into a structure defensively for you. So it didn't make sense, and I think Klopp looked at it and went, "Oh, we haven't got it in us. Let's try change this." I think he'd more chance of winning that game. Now, the mistakes Alisson make, we're going to talk about now, absolutely turns the game on his head. But when you look, I'd say City are looking at that going, brilliant. Shaqiri's not going to track fuck all if we go, and Milner is literally been playing every minute for the last 3 weeks. We can absolutely get at him, coupled with the centre backs that we have. Gini Wijnaldum on his last legs for me, and just nothing happening for Liverpool. It made no sense. I think it put more pressure on us, them changes, than it did on City, and that's just my opinion. But listen, let's move on. Alisson, Keith, he has credit in the bank. There's no doubt about that. He has credit in the bank, but I have to say today, I don't know what he's at. Because it happens and it happens and it just keeps happening, and I'm like, is this a replay I'm watching, or is he just continuing to do this?
Yeah, but the fact that it happened a few times, I think, was telling. It wasn't right. It's not like Alisson has become Cardias, as I've seen fucking getting compared to. There's something not right, and as we touched on earlier, you know what I mean, an illness, you don't want to make excuses for him, but if you have the trots the other day, he might be a bit wiped out, maybe. I don't know. His decision making wasn't great, because the passes that he where he hit it straight to them, they weren't, they were the type of pass that I could do. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't have to snap in them. Didn't have to snap in them now.
And to do it once, you'd say is like, right, that's a mistake. To do it a few times that he did, it's not like it, to me, it's not like the head was gone. He makes a mistake, because we've seen Alisson make mistakes before. We've seen Alisson against Leicester in his first season try to do a Cruyff turn, getting cut out and conceding, and just brushing it off and getting on with it.
And I think that's the good thing about him, that that you will. Like,
exactly.
You know the type of character that he is. And this is why we shouldn't go too overboard with it, because look, he's made a couple of mistakes. These fucking things happen, lads. Like,
he has made mistakes, Shawnee, but having said that, if he makes 2 cracking saves today, we're telling you how great Alisson is. There's no excuse for what he does today. And I'm not saying sell him or fucking drop him, but there's no excuse for what he does today.
He's a goalkeeper
No,
playing
there's not.
level.
Shawnee,
Tell me a goalkeeper in the history of the game that
Shawnee, listen. There's no excuse for what he done today. There's none. He passes one out and gets away with it barely, right? Then he does it again and we can see it. And then he does it again and we can see it. And it's not like they're not even passes anywhere near Liverpool players. It's unbelievable what he does.
I'm with Keith. I'm with Keith because I'm assuming trots means what I think it means, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys do bamboozle me with the odd Irish word in there, right? And I have to work it out, right?
Like a Ronnie.
What I know you got from you guys. Yeah. Fucking hell, Ronnie. Do any of the viewers or listeners or whoever's in there know what a Ronnie is? Because they said to me, my Ronnie's looking nice. We'll discuss that. We'll keep an eye on the chat. But with regards to Alisson, I get what Sean is saying and I get what Gav's saying. But I'm with Keith that there's got to be something in this illness and his not being right, not being there, because he was severely ill to miss him. A goalkeeper doesn't miss him if he's just got a cold or whatever. You've got to be severely ill.
You look like a boxer who got rocked.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, then go down.
Absolutely.
Well, then go down on the ground and call someone and say, listen, I'm not feeling the best. I'm actually not well here. Do something. But
I'd imagine he wanted to play. I'd imagine Klopp would have asked him. I don't imagine he was pushed in there because...
Probably fine at the start, Shawnee, but there could have been something in the 5 minutes before this happened where he doesn't feel well, he feels rocky. Go to the fucking ground. Go to the ground. You're doing yourself no favours staying on the pitch.
Go to the ground. Cakes at half time.
Gone off Jaffa cakes. But you know what I mean? You go to the ground, call someone in and go, listen, I'm not feeling well. I'm actually dizzy. I've double vision, whatever it might be. And they make a substitute. Now, I'm not saying we win the game, but come on. If he makes a mistake, you go, he's made a mistake. Now, don't get me wrong. He plays next week for me. He plays every fucking game for us. He's that good. But today, I'm looking going, again. And the last one,
you knew ADRIAN was on the fucking
bench. But the last one for me was like, hold on, like this isn't even, and I might add weight to the argument that there was something wrong with him, because the last one where he can go anywhere he wants and he just side foots it hard straight to the City player, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'll take it back. There probably is an excuse, but I think the excuse would be more down to if he was ill and wasn't well, rather than a footballing excuse. Because let's be honest, I'd fucking pass. Like, I haven't said that I'm a very good passer for football. Grizz would pass the ball better than that. But look, we're not gonna go on about him all.
Yeah, I won't answer that about me.
Ben Ebbett says, Ronnie, is your moustache? There you go, Ben Ebbett, but man yourself. But look,
it's loud saying as well. So
I just spotted.
As well, I think.
Yeah, I just spotted that, so I threw it up. But look, Alisson, it happens. We hope he's okay. You may hear more afterwards, but it does cost us the game. It absolutely costs us the game. I'm going to finish this up fairly quickly, lads, because we're an hour and 14 minutes in, and I just want to know from all of you, and Grizz, I'll start with you. What do we do? Rest of the season, what are you looking for?
We look to consolidate top four. We look to get our remaining injured players back, namely Keita and Jota. We try to settle in from now on the centre-backs that we've bought, enabling us our midfielders to get back into position. And we hope that sort of solidifies the spine of the team, and players knowing where they are in comfortable positions where they've played the majority of their career. And we finish second. And we give an absolute good go at the Champions League. And I think Jota will be key for that. I think THIAGO will be key for that. And that's, in my opinion, the best we can hope for this season.
Okay, Shawnee, any different than that?
Exact same as Grizz. Just get back on the horse, get a few of the bodies back in. One thing I'd like to see is maybe Klopp trying something different now. Maybe not the 4-3-3 every week. Maybe a 4-4-2. Maybe something different. Maybe Salah and Jota up top. Maybe Mane in a number 10 like he does for Senegal. Just try something. I think the thing is, we've come accustomed to these title races. Look, we're not in one now. And I don't care what anyone says. Don't get dragged into it. We will finish top four. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We will finish top four. There's too many quality players there for us not to. And I think we probably do it with games to spare. So I think we need to just change things around, because we need to start doing things with foresight now, Gav, because 4-3-3 is not going to work every game next year. Obviously, Virgil and that will come back and assist, but we need to find something that works for this current system. We need to not worry about what's going to happen when the lads come back. Find something now. I'd like to see Klopp stepping out of his comfort zone a little bit and showing us, no doubt about it, showing us why he's one of the better managers in the world. And I think it's on Klopp now to get us out of this, and some of the players.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Keith, any different to them?
Yeah, no, I agree with the lads. It's a case of getting centre backs in, playing centre back, whether they're the centre backs we want or not. They're centre backs at the end of the day. And we saw Fabinho hanging the leg out today. There's been a few instances. He's done great, but there's been a few instances where he's a midfielder playing in there. So you start at the back. You get Kabak in, who I think is the one of the defenders that's probably ready and the one you're looking most forward to.
Yeah.
You push Henderson back into midfield, and you'd never look to put him back at centre back, because if we've got Nat Phillips, Fabinho, Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies, we've got bodies back there that can play centre back. I would even be looking at getting games where Fabinho's put back into midfield, because if you can get these bodies back into midfield, you can rotate and rest the midfield. Thiago's coming in for too much criticism, in my opinion, because he's playing. Not that he's playing too much, he's world-class. People saying he's not world-class. Thiago is a world-class player. He's excellent. But there's no harm in having more options in there and taking him out of the team, and maybe, getting more accustomed to how referees act in England, that what they let you away with, what they won't let you away with. And then, as Seany said, and I think it's key, you have to try something new. There has to be changes in the formation. The personnel we have isn't great, in all honesty, but what's coming back can help that really, really. Naby Keita gets a lot of stick for his injury record. When Naby Keita's fit, he can add a dimension to the midfield that others don't. Jota, if he comes back in any way, shape, or form of fitness, will be a huge, huge addition to this team going forward. So I think we just need to not be as reactionary. Alisson's not a shit keeper all of a sudden. Alisson is an elite, best in the world type keeper. He's in that category. I think Seany was saying it there. Name a keeper that doesn't make mistakes. They all do. Alisson will be fine. It's just about solidifying what we have, getting back to the draw. This could be the sort of, we got our arses handed to us. Yeah. Watershed moment. Our arses handed to us at home by our big rivals. We didn't deserve any more than what we got. You know what I mean? And this could be we've said it a few times, I know, but this could be the one where it's right. Start fucking playing again. Okay, we're back playing. Trent, you're getting forward. There's a centre back there on your side. Robertson, you're getting forward. If you need a rest, Tsimikas came back today. Didn't look the best, but you know what I mean? That lad needs time to acclimatise and gel in as well. He's had nothing but bad luck. The more options we can get in, the more we can rotate and change the team. And that might be the spark we need, with maybe a position or formation change as well.
For me, I agree with all you. I genuinely do. For me, I'm looking and people are saying top four will be a struggle, and I'm looking going, lads, we've stopped playing football for 6 weeks. We've stopped. We've just literally taken the last 4 weeks or whatever it might be off, a bit more than that, and we're still sitting fourth in the league, and what 5 points off second place. We're at the rock bottom for me now, and I think it can only get better. I hope it gets better. Centre halves, get them bedded in, like you said, get a bit of freshness into the midfield. I think Fabinho and Henderson will do that, and on top of that, it will push the forward thinking players on a little bit as well. A mix up in formation, I'm not against whatsoever. I just want us to be more brave. I want us to go out swinging. Regardless whether by some miracle we end up winning the next 6 or 7 in a row, and you turn, you go, we're only X amount of points off the top, or we're in a battle for top 4. I want us to go out swinging and just absolutely going for it, leave nothing behind, and say, you know what, no regrets, because it's my opinion, and it always has been, that we've been dealt a very bad hand this season, and we're doing our best with it. It's not working at the moment, but I think it will come back, and I think this Liverpool side is far from finished. But I think top 4, I think you get top 4 and you move on, and you draw a line under it. Lads, before we go, just remind you on Manscaped, manscaped.com, LFC DT for 20% off and free shipping. We have got a new newsletter coming out every week. The link is in the description. And if you go in there and click on it and put in your email address, you will become a subscriber. And every time it comes out, it automatically goes to your email account, okay? And the last thing and the most important is this Keane draw that we have is got off the fucking wall, right? Went live at 7:30 on Friday night, 499 tickets. We gave ourselves 4 weeks to sell them, thinking it'll tick on. There's 360 of the fuckers gone already, right? 359 tickets, sorry. I'm telling lies. Here on Torrance, it's 359. I was rounding up as the Europeans would do. But there's 359 tickets gone as now. So what's that leave? 140 left out of 499. Brilliant prizes. Link is in the description. You go in there, you click on it. You click the numbers you want, the raffle numbers you want. It allows you to register. It's literally your name and an email address, and then you answer a simple question so they know you're not a robot. Buy as many as you want, and lads, this is going to sell out. And what I will tell you is, if it sells out in the next 2 days, we're going to spend the amount of time left before the draw happens trying to get you more prizes, trying to add to that. So instead of it being 12 prizes, we could end up with 14, 15, 16, wherever it might be. We're not going to stop. So now is your chance to get in. $4.95 a ticket, and that ticket will get you into all 12 draws, okay? But the response has been outrageous for it. Click the link, copy and paste it onto your social media, send it out there wherever you can, and we get this sold out. And yeah, if we sell it up, we're just going to keep trying to get prizes. Grizz, it's been an absolute pleasure. I better let you go, because if Seany misses the start of the Super Bowl, he's going to bleed.
I'm already at the missing the national anthem. I'm going to go fucking mad.
What? Did he play around
the national anthem?
Did he play around the vein already?
Yeah, Michael D. Higgins is handing out hooks and all.
Go on, Grizz, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you during the week.
Same.
Good stuff. Keith, I love you as much as I love Grizz.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No worries. Seany, I love you more than both of them.
And real quick, lads, Gav, Kieran Thorne, everyone involved, unbelievable job. Some spread put on. Get in and buy a few tickets. You never know. You might end up with a jersey. You might end up with nothing. But at the end of the day, you're doing something really good for a great cause. And fair play to Gav and the likes of Kieran Thorne and getting together and doing it, because it's a tough shift. It really is. And it's just brilliant. And it's great to get feedback from the lads' actual parents as well. So yeah,
they're blown away by
enjoy the Super Bowl. Yeah, and head up, because we'll be fucking back. We're not going anywhere. It's a little bump in the road. We'll be grand.
Okay, good stuff. There you go. Seany's fired up. Come on, the Chiefs. Is that right, Seany? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, up Tom Brady.
All
up Giselle.
Okay, right.
No, well, Tom Brady plays. But now, to be fair, if I'm being honest, I want to see Tom Brady win. It's a legacy thing. Mahomes is going to win loads of Super Bowls.
Have FSG got a team in this?
No, Man United do.
You have to spend money, Grizz.
That's why I said it.
Jeez, I better edit that out.
That's another podcast.
Well, the day of sport today, with Ireland in the rugby, Liverpool in the football. So we'll take the Chiefs here to win the Super Bowl and make it 3 out of 3 of absolute shy for the day.
Pakistan are playing at 4 a.m. in the morning, and they're on the verge of...
to give away a penalty and Alisson to make a save on the touchdown. Go on, boys.
Yeah,
okay. Be good. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.